There are over 45 books about these characters, and we started with Christy Miller in the first book, Summer Promise, 14-year-old girl from Wisconsin who goes to spend the summer with her wealthy aunt and uncle at Newport Beach, California. And she's confronted with the world that's very different than what it was back on the farm in Wisconsin. And when she connects with the Christian kids on the beach and she sees that their love for God is real and they really have something, Christy's drawn to that. And before the book is over, she surrenders her life to the Lord. And that's been the biggest blessing because I have received letters from girls all over the world, thousands, I'm sure, who prayed right along with Christy and gave their life to the Lord, or they realized, yeah, I was going the wrong way with these friends, and I see how Christy, it was hard, but she made the right decision. Or, yeah, I really like this guy, but he was no good for me. I can see how Christy could have gotten caught up with that, with this one character, but then she realized she wanted to wait on, see what God had for her. So it's taking a character who feels very normal, very real, very much, very innocent at 14 years old, and taking her on this journey through high school, through college, through her married years and baby years and friendship years and on. And I think that's where the readers have felt very much that they are Christy. My grandma read the first book when she was 82 years old. And when she finished it, she gave it to me and said, "Oh, Christy is just like me. Her teen years were just like mine." And I said, "Grandma, you grew up in Iowa, not in California at the beach." And she said, "No, every single teenage girl feels those things and thinks those things, no matter where she lives around the world." So by the time that we were going into another series, this spinoff with Sierra Jensen, then there was an opportunity to start with another teenage girl who came from a really strong Christian family and what was her life like. And then when she meets Christy, sort of that interacting, how the two friends, and in the Haven Maker books that came out a couple of years ago, it's Christy and Sierra again. Now they're married, now they're living near each other, and their friendship starts up again. So I think that's why readers feel like they've grown up with Christy, or it's just sort of somebody that they really truly knew. Yes, they are my imaginary friends, but we have a son and a daughter, and they're grown. They have their own kids. They're married. Um, Both of them have said, "Mom, when we come to visit you in your elderly years, you're going to call us Todd and Christy. We just know that. You're going to forget our real names. You're going to think that we're your imaginary friends." I haven't gotten to that point yet. I think that they have these characters keep reflecting, not mimicking, but reflecting what I see my own kids going through in different seasons of life, or my nieces and what their situations are. And so, in a way, they have grown to be so much a conglomerate of people that I know and love very well. And I was able to take those different issues or challenges and put it into the lives of these characters so that they became sort of that reflection of everything that was going around in circles around me. I have heard from so many readers over the years, and the things that come up over and over again are that in the beginning, as they start reading about Todd, especially, he's so non-committal and he just seems like he's really maybe not that interested in Christy, but then they realize that he's a little older than she is. He wants to protect her. He wants to make sure that she's really growing the way she needs to become fully who she is, so that when they finally do, spoiler alert, when they finally do get together as a couple of being, yes, I'm committed to furthering a relationship with you. They've gone through so much as friends or just in a larger group, And what the readers say over and over is how much that helped them, because everything else in movies and their friends is, oh, I like that guy. Oh, he likes you too. Okay, now we're boyfriend and girlfriend. And there's like no space to really have that freedom to develop your own personality during those teen years or figure out who you are, it's always in connection with this other person. And then so many of the girls said, I found a boyfriend right away when I was 13. And then when he broke up and it broke my heart, I had to go find another boyfriend just so that I kind of know who I was. And so that I think is the bigger message or the picture that I really wanted the readers to see, that you can have all these really great relationships with Doug. They're really awesome, and you get to learn who you are and how God made you. And as you mature, you're so much better prepared for a committed relationship. Our kids were in that season and having their babies and figuring out married life as I was writing about that season, because I've been writing about these characters for so long. And what seemed to just grow naturally in that was the realization that these characters really are true to who they are. So things that really bothered Christy about Todd back when he was kind of non-committal or surfer kid, he wants to, and then here he is, he's married and he has responsibilities, and I thought you were going to stop at the store and pick up some milk. Oh yeah, I forgot, so that's the real life of love is patient and love is kind and working it through, so that we get to see Todd grow the most in those early married years. They start off with, they've got jobs, they've got a little place to live, they're so happy, and then everything falls apart and they're without jobs, and when they're without a place to live in, what are they going to do, and how together they come to depend on God in a deeper way than they ever had before. And it's so fun when I get the letters from readers who say, wow, did you have a telescope into my marriage? That's exactly what happened to us. We were married 3 months. My husband lost his job. We had to move. And we weren't sure if the marriage was going to last, but I was reading your book and I saw how they trusted God and they were patient with each other. So those are the lessons, they're life lessons. They're not unusual. They're not dramatic, but there are so few voices telling this generation, it's okay. This is how you take each step and work through the problems in the relationship. At some point you say, aren't you going to retire, or is that enough, or are you trying to break a record? And it's just, when you're a creative person, your imagination is always sort of rolling into something new. And when those ideas stick, I start taking notes in one of my journals, I pray about it, I just kind of see what's there. And there's some things that just sort of sprout and then they wither and go away, but other ideas just keep rolling around, rolling around. I have a fantastic agent. So I'll call my agent. As a matter of fact, we just talked last week and I said, okay, here's what I'm thinking about. Maybe by January next year, I could start on this. And we went back and forth and she had some ideas. And so it's just always moving forward. But in 3 weeks, I'm going to Brazil to speak at a book conference. And there are so many readers in Brazil that grew up reading the Christy Miller books in Portuguese. And now their daughters are reading them. And there are young women who grew up reading Christy Miller books who wanted to become a writer because of them. And so I'm going to be doing a forum with these young writers who are they call me Mama Robin. They're writing in the heart language of their people because they were so touched at the young age when they read those books. So yeah, there's plenty to get up in the morning about.